Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be. Welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. My name is Tonchi Prusak, and I'm going to be with you over the next 60 minutes or so, bringing you all the latest news, views, interviews. Well, maybe not interviews tonight, but all the news from all the football that is going on around at the moment. And we'll be starting very, very shortly with all of that. And joining me, as he usually does, week in, week out, my co-host, who is just running a tad late, but let's see if he's around. Welcoming to, and hopefully he's there. Hello, Steve Curtin. Are you there? Hello, Steve. Steve's having troubles getting on, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, we seem to be having a little bit of a problem. It's episode 66 of the Geelong Region Soccer Show, a very, very heavily laden Euro Championships coverage tonight. We'll be covering a fair bit of that tonight. We'll also be looking at all the latest news that has been happening over the weekend locally. And there he is. Good evening, Steve. We lost you for a second. How are you?
Yeah, well, thanks. Not too sure what happened there, but not to worry. We've got a good show coming up, and to be following the usual traditions of the Geelong Region Soccer Show, we'll talk about the weather. What a beautiful day across town it was today.
Oh, mate, what a shocking start it was. It started off absolutely freezing. I was up really early, crack of dawn, as they say. And it was like something like 2 degrees at one stage. I thought, heaven forbid. I was going to spend all day outdoors. I thought it's going to be one of those cold, cold days. Luckily, though, no, the weather turned beautifully. So, mate, you had the day off, didn't you? So were you able to get out and about and enjoy it?
I did. Well, priorities, I guess. I got up and watched the game at 5 o'clock this morning, the Belgium-Portugal game. And given it was my first proper sort of day off for about 2.5 weeks, I thought I'm just going to have a little bit of a nap after that. And then I got up a little later, and there was a busy day after that. But yeah, I was outside doing exciting things, washing the car, changing headlights and stuff like that in the car. So got out to the gym, Good day.
Very productive day.
Got the slow cooker on here now for after the show, so
mate,
fantastic. Pretty happy now. You had a very football heavy day yourself as well.
I did. I was down at the Darebin Sports Centre, or International Sports Centre, or whatever it's called these days.
The disc.
The disc. That's it. Yep. And down there, and I was in. I wasn't involved, but I was sort of partaking in the TIDC SAP. Whatever, my little one was involved in that. And so too was quite a fair few Geelong people as well. So the traditional training during the school holidays. So it's great to see a few of the Geelong folk down there as well. And just speaking to some of the other parents from some of the other regions and what you're not. And it's funny, we're kind of lucky in ways, and we're unlucky in ways when it comes to the Geelong football community. Having that one footprint in Melbourne with a lot of our clubs and a lot of our teams, and then having the other footprint here, it can be a positive and a negative, Steve. And one of the things, I met a lovely couple from Mildura, a couple gentlemen from Ballarat, and a couple from other Gippsland as well. And they all lament the fact that they, if they want to get quality coaching, if they want to get quality training, quality competition, they have to travel. The folk from Mildura, they had to come down here, and they were just praying that there wasn't going to be another lockdown, because that's all they needed. But yeah, we're kind of lucky and unlucky here in Geelong. Maybe we're a little bit unlucky in the sense that we're sometimes seen as a part of Melbourne, and really we have to be a part of Melbourne if we want that quality. But at the same time, I think we've got enough of a appetite in Geelong, for elite training or elite level training. But at the same time, able to accommodate that, just that general participatory level, whatever, I guess. So, it's good to see that we have got a bit of a balance, and sometimes we lose sight of that. But, it's the other thing I actually must admit, and I did observe a little bit of this over the weekend, and once again, it's to do with junior football. And just talking to some of the instructors and some of the coaches there from Football Victoria that run the program. And there's just that little bit of a, I don't know if you want to call it a COVID era general frustration at, the world that's going around us and this and that. But A lot of, and it's starting to fester in junior sport. A lot of the parents, there's parents from hell starting to come out of their shell. Even kids very frustrated, very angry, and somehow that anger and frustration tends to sort of manifest itself in let's call it sideline abuse and that sort of stuff. And that seems to be rearing its ugly head a little bit more. I think what people have to realize, and Steve, this is something I think last night when we had the Football Out West show, and we had Caroline Springs George Cross president Mark Sultana on. Very good interview, by the way, folks. Go to the Football Out West show YouTube channel and watch the whole interview. But one of the things he was saying is how much he deals now with a lot of parents, a lot of parental issues, particularly with junior soccer. And I was talking to someone down there who has had some involvement with the George Cross Football Club, and there's some teams there that have got really bad parents and parental involvement and frustration and what you're not. And yeah, I think Mark said it beautifully. Sometimes we just need to stop, give each other a hug, and also realize that this is a blessing what we've got, being able to play and watch our kids, because, last year we had the lockdown and how much we missed it. Now, thankfully, for how long, I don't know, but at the moment things are going good. We've got community football. We should really be thriving and enjoying it. And most people are. Let's get it straight. Most people are. But there is still a little bit of that element of, sideline aggression.
Yeah, that's right. Particularly after. Exactly. Yeah, give that the red card. Exactly. Particularly after last year, we should really, really appreciate the opportunity to be being involved in live football for the kids and for the adults. Because it's something that can be we've seen it can be taken away from you, and for in any number of circumstances. Obviously a pandemic's one, but injury and illness and things are another, and you should appreciate every moment you've got and be kind to each other, whether they're on your team, whether they're the referee, whether they're the opposition.
It's funny,
you're all there for the same reason, that you all love the game and you want to do well. So,
and I think last week's program was one of those programs that really put things into perspective. Now, if you haven't watched last week's program, do so. We featured a young 24-year-old lass, Liana Whitehand, who actually, unbeknown to us, she was actually speaking to us. We interviewed her from her hospital bed, and she was recovering after having had her leg amputated as a result of a rare form of cancer. It's so rare, Steve, I can't even remember what it was called. It was, can you remember?
Osteosarcoma or something. I think she said something like 8 to 10 people diagnosed maybe every year across Victoria and Tassie.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you know what? You've got someone like that who has probably got every reason to get angry at the world and angry at life, but she was so just, a half glass type of full type of person. And that really puts into perspective. And I was speaking to a club president during the week who said they'd been speaking to one of the coaches at that particular club, and they were having problems with some of the players and what you're not. And the coach basically said, well, look at this girl, look at her for inspiration. I mean, we should not take for granted, one, good health, and two, the fact that we can play football. So, if anything comes out of these last 7 days of what you're not, it's let's tone down with that aggression, with that frustration. Yes, maybe we might be angry at the world around us and frustrated at what is happening, and you've got every right to. But at the end of the day, don't take it out on the wrong people and all of those volunteers, all of the referees, the opposition players, and what you're not. When I saw an under-12 game yesterday, and a kid, with an attitude problem saying, "Oh, how much did you pay the ref?" And at the end of the game, not really even wanting to, acknowledge the referee or that sort of stuff. It starts somewhere. It starts somewhere. So, and
it's up to the adults around there to nip that in the bud straight away, because you can't let that slide. That kind of
if it's not the coach, then it must be the parents. If it's not the parents, then someone at the club has to step in and just say enough's enough. So look, let's hopefully, I mean, we are touching on the negative, but I think it's just because it's a very, very valuable point that we need to make. But there's a lot of positives as well at the same time. Steve, let's get straight into the news. What do you reckon? I'll let you step away for the desk for a second, and we're going to quickly get into the news desk. Guys, don't go away. It's episode 66 of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. One thing before we do go on, we need your support if we want to continue. We need clubs to jump on board and support the show. We need you, the clubs, to sponsor the Club in Focus segment, and we need businesses to help out. If we don't get that, we won't be seeing the end of the season. That's how serious it is. Thank you to all of our members. There's not that many of them, but the few that we have got, they ensure that we're able to see out, some of these episodes when we don't have a sponsor, when we don't have clubs on board. Tonight is one of those episodes. So sincere thanks to all of our members. I think there's about 8 members at the moment. So a massive, massive thank you and massive shout out to all of those members. As a member, what happens? You get a bonus daily news bulletin straight to your inbox. You don't get those articles anywhere in Geelong, unfortunately. Geelong Advertiser had one article in today's paper. The NPL Victoria Streams are covering some of the NPL clubs, but unfortunately, there's not that much publicity. So the little bit of publicity you do get, please, please, please support it. Don't go away. On the other side of this short break is the news desk. Okay, Steve, what is making news?
All right, well, let's go straight from Geelong to the Ferenc Puskas Arena in Budapest, where we saw the Netherlands bow out of the Euro 2020s last night, losing 2-0 to the Czech Republic in a surprise upset. The heavy favourites in this fixture had Matthijs de Ligt sent off on 55 minutes, and then the Czech team, who were organised, they were resilient, they were full of spirit. They got the win courtesy of goals from Thomas Holles on 68 minutes and that man who scored his 4th of the tournament, Patrick Schick, on 80 minutes. And the Dutch didn't manage a single shot on target in this match despite 52% possession in the game. Tonchi, a bit of a boil over there. And I actually haven't seen the mini match of this one, so I'm looking forward to sitting down after the show and watching this one over dinner time.
Yeah, no, absolutely interesting. Matthijs de Ligt, as you said, 55th minute red card. 12 shots to 6. That's interesting. The Czech Republic had 12 shots to 6 and 5 shots on target to 0. Now, despite the fact that, as you said, the Netherlands enjoyed slightly more possession, 52% compared to 48%. It's amazing that not one shot on target, and so. Simply by virtue of that, it's quite amazing that the Czech Republic did so well. Well, they've progressed through to the next round, and there we go. If we go look at some of the other results there, on Sunday morning, Denmark defeated Wales quite convincingly too, by the way, 4-0. Italy defeated Austria, but not after the Austrians made the Italians work quite hard, extra time as well. So the 2-1 result there. But yeah, that's a surprise, Steve. The Czech Republic advancing past the Netherlands, and I guess with such ease, if you want to put it that way, because no one really expected that. But yeah, credit to the Czechs. They've moved to the next round.
Yeah, and then they're going to face Denmark in the next round, who've become the real sentimental favourite for this tournament now, for obvious reasons surrounding Christian Eriksen. So that'll be a tough task for the Czech Republic in the next game as well, but that'll be played in Baku as well. So that's going to be in the heat of the afternoon as well, 2 a.m. local time, which is an afternoon game over there. So yeah, hot conditions. The funny thing with this tournament is the weather fluctuates so much, whether you're playing a game in Glasgow versus Seville. It really completely changes the way the matches are played, and that probably gives us an opportunity to move on to that game that took place this morning. A little bit earlier, the one you can see on your screen there, Belgium-Portugal, finished 1-0 to Belgium. Nice goal by Torgan Hazard from long range. That was the sealer, and that dumped the holders of the trophy out of the tournament. So Belgium, they didn't play their best football in this game, and they lost a couple of players, including Eden Hazard and Kevin De Bruyne to injury. It looks like Eden Hazard could be out for the tournament if he's got a hamstring.
Oh, no.
De Bruyne, not too sure, but they've already lost Timmy Castagna in the first match of the competition. Well, they've got so much depth, so they're going to get their depth tested a bit more now, and they're going to play Italy next up, so that's going to be a rip snorter.
Well, I guess you can definitely say that game is going to be a close one. There'll probably be one goal in it, and it'll probably go into extra time. But, you look at the statistics, Portugal, 23 shots to 6, 4 on target compared to 1. Now, get this, the possession, 58% to 42%. So they had an overwhelming amount of possession. They just couldn't translate that into goals. And at the end of the day, forget what you want about possession. If you don't do anything with the ball once you've got possession, end of the day you're not going to win. And in this case, passes is another thing. 597 passes to 451, astounding difference. Pass accuracy 88% to 83. So everywhere except for on the scoreboard, Portugal outdid Belgium. But as I said, where it most counted, on the scoreboard they didn't. So, that's going to be a really, really close tussle. Some Ripper games coming up, the last 4 games of the round of 16. So that all happens with Croatia and Spain tomorrow morning. Now, we discussed some of these games on the Football Outward show last night, Steve. But let's go through this very, very quickly. Croatia enters this game against Spain without Ivan Perisic, arguably their best player of the tournament so far. Having said that, his replacement, Mislav Orsic, Dinamo Zagreb attacking midfielder, he's chafing at the bit, and he's been given an opportunity now. He's ready to perform, and he scored 3 goals against Tottenham Hotspur in the Europa Cup in the season just gone by. So the man is definitely capable. How capable on the big stage, I guess we'll find out tomorrow morning at 2:00. But what's your tip for that game, Steve?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Croatia going really need to rely on perhaps Nikola Vlasic, who came into the team. I'm not sure everyone's everyone was pretty delighted to have him in the team, I suppose, in that last game. I don't know. I just was thinking today about the game where Croatia lost, was it by their record score only a couple of years back to Spain, 6 goals to 0. I don't know. I'm just struggling to see Croatia getting over the line now in this one.
Yeah, well, look, my heart tells me, yes, Croatia's going to win and they're going to achieve greatness and this and that. Ultimately, though, I think it all comes back down to one man, Luka Modric. He knows the Spaniards well. Obviously, he plays in Spain, plays for Real Madrid. But he's the sort of player. If he's inspirational, he's inspirational. But if his performance is like it was against the Scots, he will fire up the rest of his teammates and he'll pull out something magical, and you'll watch the Spaniards just crumble. But that all depends on how he turns up. Up until the Scottish game, he hadn't done much this tournament. So has he played his best, or is his best yet to come? We'll wait and see. France and Switzerland tomorrow morning, 5:00. Steve, thoughts?
Yeah, I was thinking about this one today. France, probably their biggest opposition is if they become their own worst enemy and start messing up their opportunity to beat Switzerland. They should win this game easy, but they haven't set the world on fire yet either, to be honest. We'll have to see, but I think France 1-0 in this one.
I tend to agree with you. I think it's going to be a close one. I tipped France at the start of the tournament. I said that France, I don't want them to win, but I think they will. But I think, as you said, they haven't exactly set the world on fire. And the same thing like with the Croatians. Have we seen the best of France, or are we going to see the best of France? Look, I think against Switzerland, they should have it in the bag, but it won't be all that easy. I'm tipping sort of either a 1-0 or even a 2-1 win for them, but it will be close. Wednesday morning, the big one, the game that all of Europe and indeed I think most of the world is eagerly looking forward to. England versus Germany. Mate, over to you.
It's a hard one to call. I think I'll stick with what I said last night, which was Germany to get over the line in penalties. That game's being played at Wembley, so that's either a big home ground advantage or something that will make England a little bit nervous. What are your thoughts?
Oh, that's a good question. I really don't know. I don't think so. What do people think that are tuning in? Pop it in the comments section. Yeah. We'll gladly have a read. And that is a good question. Is a very, very good question. Playing against Germany at Wembley with the current crop of the team and the coach that they've got, because I know the English press are brutal, aren't they? And English fans are quite brutal. Yeah, the expectations are high prior to the tournament. You know, it's going home, it's coming home, all of that kind of stuff. Started off well with a win against Croatia on opening day, or not opening day, but in the opening round. Since then, it's been sort of it's been kind of up and down performance. Germany aren't Germany. Germany aren't what they used to be, but Germany aren't what they used to be, but Germany are Germany. And you can always expect that when the Germans come out, they'll come out fighting, especially against the English at Wembley. So I think that's going to be, it's got all the makings of the game of the tournament so far. But look, I'm tipping the home side. I think England will do it, and I think they will. Not convincingly, it'll be a close game, but I think they will do it, and it'll probably be a goal in it, 1-0, I'd say.
Yeah, very good. And finally, Sweden and Ukraine, 5 a.m. Wednesday morning.
Tough one, absolutely tough one.
It's a line ball, that one.
I'm gonna dare to sit on the fence on this one, and earn some splinters up my backside. This is too hard to call. Gut feeling tells me Sweden. I'm not sure why, but maybe it's because they're on top at the moment and Ukraine below them. No, I honestly do not know. What about you, mate? I'll pass it on to you.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the odds, but surely Sweden is going to start slight favourites. Out of the teams that have qualified for the final 16, Ukraine has faced more shots on target than any other team. So they have had to ride their luck a little bit there, according to that statistic. I think, I don't know, something tells me an upset, though, and they're going to win Ukraine.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Yep, so the business end of the season for the Euro Championships. And speaking of European football, some big news today with regards to TV rights, Steve.
Yeah, I woke up this morning to the news that Stan Sport had acquired the rights that are currently held by Optus Sports that cover the UEFA Champions League, the Europa League, just to name two. That you might like to watch usually on Optus Sports. They're going to be going to Stan Sport for next season. So it's a bit of a blow for us sports fans, because I'm not sure if too many football people have subscribed to this Stan Sport. It's something that's been mainly covering rugby union, and I think now it's covered rugby league as well. So it's going to get a difficult situation in our landscape to try and be able to watch the games we want to watch, isn't it?
Yeah. It's and I guess the most frustrating thing is that all the rights are just being absolutely crucified. They're split, aren't they? Yeah. We've seen Paramount, which is the Channel 10 version. They've got the A-League, they've got the Socceroos. We've got Stan Sport now with the European Champions League. We've got KO Sports with still the Italian, Spanish,
Italian, Spanish, German, Scottish, and the
Scottish,
and
exactly.
the English Cup competitions as well.
Yeah. Optus has got the EPL. You just can't keep on top of it, can you? Like it's. Didn't you say like it's going to sort of roughly approximately cost about $500 a year in subscription fees to be able to watch everything? Like ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the number that's been. There's some data behind that number to work that out. It's going to be hard to know exactly because of special deals and things like Optus is something that's based on people's phone plans, and does that come into the cost, or is that an additional thing? What have you? Not too sure, but I don't know what we're going to do. We might have to just team up and buy subscriptions in joint people's names and share them around and stuff. That's the kind of thing that happens. Or people use, if you've got a VPN, perhaps you can, stream things through saying that you're in Japan or Sweden or somewhere. Like, I didn't say that. But
no, that's right. Yeah, mate. Yeah, exactly. But does that mean it's? I mean, Stan Sport is owned by Channel 9. Is there a likelihood or possibility that games may be put onto some of the free to air? I don't think it will. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think so, but it's a good question. I haven't heard anyone pose that question. And you know what? Like, if they're going to do that, they should at least say, all right, well, the bulk of the, pay-per-view, or not pay-per-view, but the bulk of the content that you can watch on demand, should I say, is sitting there, behind that account if you've got a login for it. But we can show maybe the main games, like one game from each round can be on, on 9 or something like that. Why not? That's not much to ask for, I think. Not much to ask for.
No, interesting stuff ahead. Yeah. Okay. Last week, mate, we had we had a very, very touching episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show, and it featured 24-year-old Liana Whitehand. And we launched we didn't launch the GoFundMe campaign. That was launched by one of Lana's friends, or one of the nurses looking after her. Barwon coach Simon Blanche brought it to our attention, so we had Simon on, and we also spoke to Liana. Oh, sorry, it says please donate to the Lana Whitehand. Should be Liana Whitehand. There's a GoFundMe page there, and there's a link there as well. So if you do go to the link, you can go GoFundMe.com and then do a search for Liana Whitehand. And that'll take you there as well. They were trying to raise 30,000. I'm not too sure how much the latest figure is, the latest total. But we here at the Geelong Region Soccer Show, thanks to Pete Bradley from Western United FC, we had an auction that turned into a silent auction late last week. And if you haven't heard, we were able to raise $1,000, and that man there to your left, John Thorpe from Ballerine Sewing Centre, and I believe that is his partner. I'm not too sure. Better just not get that wrong. He pledged $1,000 and has since paid that money into the GoFundMe page for Liana Whitehand, and as a result, he received that fully autographed Western United away kit. And I'm told by Pete Bradley that John is indeed a fanatical Western United supporter and really wants to put something back into the community. So kudos to Pete for organising it, and absolute congratulations and well done to John Thorpe for pledging $1,000 and adding to that Liana Whitehand appeal. So some really, really great news there, Steve.
Yeah, well done to all involved. And just an update on that, the fundraising is now at $27,763. The goal on the GoFundMe is currently set at $50,000. So if you want to get over there and donate now, if you haven't already, it's easy to do. I can see a lot of names of local clubs and local football personalities in the names of the recent donations that have gone into the fund. You can, as you said, I just did a bit of a Google search and found that there. So you can
very easy.
Liana Whitehand GoFundMe, you will find it, or you can follow the links on our page as well. Of course, Geelong Region Soccer Show or Geelong Region Soccer News Facebook page has the links there for it too. Yeah,
fantastic. Now, mate, you've got a bit of breaking news. Is that right?
Oh, that's right. Breaking news. I don't think even Brenton Ray knows this one yet. Ooh. And this is to do with the live stream this Saturday afternoon. We're going to have, for the first time this season, Geelong Soccer Club from the NPL 3 competition are going to have their game live streamed when they travel to Larissa Reserve to play the North Sunshine Eagles at 3 o'clock on Saturday. That'll be on your live streams for the NPL Victoria Facebook and YouTube, so you can sit at home. I think it's going to be 11 degrees and rainy, so which is a worry actually. Which is a worry for me actually, because I'm not too sure of the setup there. But if you can't get to the game, you can watch it from the comfort of your own home and support the Geelong Soccer Club as they try and get the points on the road.
Oh, fantastic! That's good. That's well deserving. And there was an article in the Geelong Advertiser today about the Geelong Soccer Club. They'll be desperate after conceding a late goal from Doveton. We'll talk more about the game itself, but that was, I think, one of the first times or few times that the Geelong Soccer Club has been mentioned in the Geelong Advertiser. The daily football news, which all of the members of our illustrious program receive on a daily basis in their inbox every weekday. There has been a few articles about the Geelong Soccer Club receiving some grants and whatnot. as well. So that has been good. Now, before we go, we've got another little announcement, it's more like a little birthday notice to one of the craziest soccer mums here in Geelong. A very, very happy birthday to my sister-in-law, Kathy Lebon. There you go. Look at that, soccer mum. She's got the soccer shirts in the washing machine and what not. A very happy 21st, Kathy. All the very, very best to you.
21 today.
Don't turn 21 often, do you? It's going to kill me for that, but it's all right. That's okay. That's why I'm not over at their house tonight. So I'm on the show.
You're missing out on a piece of cake, though.
Absolutely. Mate, we're going to, straight after this, now we're going to get into the roundup. We're going to start off with the NPL. Don't go away. We won't be too long. You're listening to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, and it is episode 66. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Show your support. Become a member of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. There it is. It's the following website, www.patreon.com/Geelong Region Soccer Show. And the Rayman has got a correction, apparently. He's telling us it's Box Hill United versus Geelong Soccer Club at Wembley Park, not North Sunshine Eagles, as just mentioned, as North Sunshine Eagles are playing against Melbourne City at Larissa Reserve. Well, there you go. And Mario Gregorio says, yep, correct. I just checked as well. So there we go. Goodness me.
Sorry, yeah.
Sorry about that. I think you were I muted you.
Maybe that's a delay. Sorry. I looked at the fixture now, and I've just seen that, as you said, Brenton is 100% correct. So I've been sold a bit of a lemon there for my appointment this Saturday. So
on the bright side, I think Box Hill, I think Wembley Park has got a better setup for commentators. Is that?
I'm not too sure.
I know they've got a.
Oh, look, I was promised a game out west by our great mate Chris Gleason, so might have to review that and see if there's anything else closer to home. So I don't know if I'll be able to get to Box Hill on Saturday afternoon.
It's a bit of a hike, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Mate, speaking of the NPL, let's go through the NPL action, and we'll start off with I think it was the NPL 2 action, and we've got a little bit of footage happening here as well. So let's go through some of that.
And you were there on the scaffold there, as next to the cameraman,
we can see some footage. Yeah, Craig Filer and I called this. So this is the North Geelong Warriors versus the Moreland Zebras game. Look, overall, very entertaining game. Cold as all buggery. I tell you what, it was freezing. It was absolutely freezing. But it was entertaining game. I think this is where, not sure if this is it's just a few minutes after this, the first goal scored by Luka Jurkovic. Now, Luka Jurkovic, he's been in fine form. It's his fourth goal of the season. This was about the 31st minute or something like that. He'd scored on the Tuesday when it was the FFA Cup against Avondale FC midweek last week. So this was, I think, like I said, the 32nd minute, North Geelong took a goal, went into the halftime break, up 1-0. And then second half, it was just a completely different Zebras outfit that came out to play. And it culminated with a 94th minute win. And far too many times, Geelong sides this year have conceded either late equalisers or have conceded the late winner. And I'm not sure what's going on there, but it's starting to happen more and more, I think. So hopefully, with young players, and Craig made a really good point. At one stage, I think there was like 6 or 7 of the 11 North Geelong players on the park they're all teenagers. Now, it's pretty amazing when you think about it. And they're all basically homegrown teenagers, all youngsters from the local area. That's pretty amazing when you do put it into perspective, Steve. But with young players, I guess what's going to happen is you're going to see a lot of inconsistent performances. And that was exactly the case what happened here. And there we go. There's the goal by Jurkovic, number 9. Solid performance by him. And there we go, 31st minute, I was right. So, yeah, I don't know what the solution there is, but, yeah, unfortunately, that was the case. And we now look at the ladder there, and North Geelong are in 9th position. You know, they're not far off the relegation zone when you think about it. They're only like 3 points away. They have been, look, it was the first loss under Stuart Begg's reign, league loss, that is. Really, I think everyone was gutted thereafter. Like, honestly, they were just gutted that they weren't able to secure the points, or at least a draw out of that game. They probably deserved more, but yeah, just lapse in concentration towards the end of the game cost them dearly.
Yeah, it's a shame because there's the previous, I think if you said it, was the previous game last week at Northcote City where they were going to get the 3 points until they conceded in the 94th minute as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, hard to take when that sort of stuff happens, especially consecutive weeks.
Well, you saw him the week before, and you saw him midweek as well. So, you know, is it a lapse in concentration that's starting to cost them dearly, or is it something else? I mean, I'm not too sure, but whatever it is.
Yeah, definitely the goal against Northcote City was a real lapse in concentration. Not sort of, yeah, just I think they'd be the first to admit. I mean, both goals in that game were lapses in concentration, I suppose, as well. Michael Anderson scored at the back post completely unmarked from 6 yards when North opened the scoring, but then they let Noah Michaelides run to about 12 yards out and pass it into the corner, which they wouldn't have been happy about either, I'm sure. Stuart Beck was pretty upset after that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, this week they've got a chance to redeem themselves. It's the big the Princess Highway Derby. I don't know what over the Pacific Highway. I'm not sure. I'm thinking California or something. I don't know. The Princess Highway Derby. The Warriors travel up to Galvin Park, where they will take on Werribee City. Werribee City at one stage they were doing really well in the weekend just gone by. They just weren't able to carry it through. But I think they took on Brunswick City and were leading 2-1 at one stage or something like that, and then ended up losing 3-2. But Werribee City, they are just about to unveil a brand new multi-million-dollar change room social club upgrade, and they'll be wanting to celebrate in style against the Warriors, who in recent years have had the edge over the Bees. But it's a game that a real, as they say, a 6-pointer. North Geelong really needs a win here. One, to stave off the get away from the relegation zone, but also to address a little bit of that maybe I won't say lack of confidence, but that drop in confidence that has seen them in the last couple of weeks. Lose games or drop points when they shouldn't have.
I think the thing is with North, they've had a really hectic return to football after, no one played 28 days straight. And then they come back. They played on a heavy pitch on the Saturday at Northcote City. They had to front up and play against the NPL Victoria League leaders, Avondale, who are sensational. And they certainly weren't disgraced against Avondale despite the 5-1 scoreline. And both teams rotated the squads a little bit too. So then they had to front up again on Saturday. So it's tough. It's tough, and these things will happen. But I think there's still got to be reasons for optimism there, and I think they could get the win this weekend over Werribee.
Absolutely. Okay, NPL 3 and the Geelong Soccer Club. Goodness me. Once again, a late goal conceded. What is happening there? It was an 82nd minute goal that they conceded, Steve. And another one of those last minute conceding a goal, but once again towards the end of the game.
Yeah, that's right. A share of the points against Doveton, who are doing really well this season in the NPL 3, would have been, I think, a good result even at home. I think that's still a pretty good result. They would have been pretty happy with that, and thinking that they were going to be able to walk off and say, well, we've got a share of the points against one of the top teams. And then, of course, last couple of minutes, that's not the case. So it's particularly disappointing to have that happen to you in front of your home support at Stead Park.
Yeah, Liam McCormick was the goal scorer in the 82nd minute. But you're right. Look at it, Doveton, and that actually doesn't take into account the Geelong Doveton game for some unknown reason. That hasn't been updated. No. So really, when you put it into perspective, Preston Lions on top with 26 points. Then you've got Doveton in second spot on 24 points. And then you got the two A-League clubs, Western United, Melbourne City thereafter, but then Box Hill after that. So, look, it's going to be a tough game for Geelong this weekend. I'll tell you what, obviously taking on Box Hill. But, they've done reasonably well. They're sort of mid-table there with 14 points from 11 games. And, all right, maybe they weren't able to win some of those games, or maybe they shouldn't have won some of those games. But there are a couple of games there that they certainly should have drawn or not lost towards the end. But they'll be bleeding, and I'm sure on the road, even though it'll be a tough assignment for them, I think they'll be raring to go. They'll really, really want to redeem themselves, the Lions, for dropping the points against Doveton when they could have at least had a draw there. And that was NPL 3. Now, I think we've also got some footage of the next one, next game, have we not? I think. Yep, here we go.
We're looking at State League 1 now.
Yep, turning our attention now to State League 1. And
there it is.
There we go.
There's a happy group of guys there after a trip to Quarries Park in Clifton Hill. Got the 3 points.
Now, that was what an amazing result that was. Yes, Clifton Hill had a midweek FFA Cup game, so they probably may have been very weary. And also the reason why we've got no sound is because there's a fair bit of swearing on this. So if you really actually want to listen to the original, go onto the Corio Soccer Club Facebook page, and we've got a few Corio people, Santino, Joey, even the president Mario tuning in. So next time when it's for the cameras, get them to tone down some of the F-bombs and what you're not. But all in all, jokes aside, brilliant performance by Corio Soccer Club. 5-2 on the road. That is just absolutely brilliant performance, as we said. And there's the ladder. So we'll go through, the results there. Well, take us through the results and the goal scorers of that particular game, Steve.
Yeah, sure thing. I'll just have to hold off just for one.
So it's 5-2 for Clifton Hill, 2, Corio 5 goals. Now
5-2. So it's a pretty good win. So the goals there, opening the scoring was Doig for Clifton Hill on 19 minutes, and then it was all Corio after that. Lima De La Rosa on was the last kick of the first half. Then he scored again in the 61st minute before it was Gotto in the 55th. Festim Almazi in the 50th minute, and he scored his second in injury time, Almazi, to make it 5, and then they conceded 1 in the 78th minute. So great result there at Quarries Park for Corio, and I know Santino travelled up there, and he had a pretty good day from what I can understand.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Alison Lima de Rosa scored 2 goals in this game, so he scored 5 now for the season, so he's starting to become a real focal man up front, and they've got a couple of avenues to goal, which is always good to see. And 12 points from 11 games, they're doing quite well. They've had sort of a topsy-turvy sort of start, or the first half of the year. First few games did very well. Then there was a little bit of a dry patch, and now they've got back on the winners list, so that's great to see. Tough game coming up this weekend, but before we look at the next week coming up, let's look at some of the results. There's some big scores happening there. Sydenham Park smashed Banyule City 6-0. Brimbank Stallions overran Whittlesea United 3-0. Caroline Springs George Cross defeated Fitzroy City easily by 4-1. One of the goal scorers there was former North Geelong defender Morgan Filer. He's fitted in well with the brass there at Caroline Springs George Cross. Altona City and Yarraville 4-3 to Altona City. Very, very high scoring game, that one. And that brings us to this week's round 14 fixtures. I guess the most interesting ones is at the top, Caroline Springs will be taking on Banyule City down the bottom, and they will be hoping that Corio Soccer Club can do them a massive favour when the Eagles host the Stallions. That is the Brimbank Stallions at home this Saturday at Hume Reserve at 3 p.m. Now, that should be an absolute fantastic game. Brimbank Stallions are a very, very tough side, a very well organised, very well structured side. They have got their eyes firmly planted on promotion to NPL next season, as does Caroline Springs George Cross. But, when you win 5-2 on the road and you come back home to defend your fortress, you must be thinking you'd be pretty confident, even though you're coming up the second against, the equal top side in the Brimbank Stallions, Steve.
Oh, look, I think they're going to know that they're in for a real battle, Corio, this week. So, look, if they were able to get a point off the Stallions, that'd be a very good effort. At the moment, as this league goes, it is a real 2-horse race, and one of those horses is the Stallions.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is going to be a top game. So if you do a 2-horse race and one of them is the Stallions, I like that. Took me a while to get that, but that's a good one. Well, it's the Stallions and the Eagles. Who is going to come out on top? 3:00 Saturday at Hume Reserve is the place to be. Let's moving along now to State League 2 and the Geelong Rangers. So they played on the weekend, came up against Laylord United. Now, mate, we talk about Geelong teams that have conceded in the last minute or virtually in the last kick of the day. The Rangers did the complete opposite. They virtually scored with the last kick of the day to save the game. Tell us more, mate.
Yeah, this game played at Myers Reserve on Saturday afternoon. Laylord took the lead midway through the second half and looked to be getting all 3 points until there was a 92nd minute goal by Clayson for Geelong Rangers to get a share of the points. And, well, they certainly need it because they are sitting now, as you can see on the table there, in 11th place. They would have liked to have got all 3 points. But nonetheless, against a team who's sitting in 4th, that's not too bad.
No, it's not too bad. And that gives them, I think, a little bit of tonic as well for this weekend's game when they come up against Hume United, third place Hume United at Laura Douglas Reserve. Hasn't been a very happy hunting ground for the Rangers in recent years. Hume United are always a tough side at the best of times, but especially at home. And they'll be hosting the Rangers, and the Rangers will be hoping to come back with all 3 points in tow. Another club that really needs as many points as they can possibly get in the next few weeks. I mean, we're at the halfway mark of the season and still a long way to go, but no one wants to be in that dreaded relegation zone, do they, Steve? Not at this time of the year, not at the end of the year. The sooner the Rangers can start collecting some points and moving up the ladder. And having said that, look at the sort of congestion just above it. Western Suburbs 10th on 12 points. Then Epping City and Hoppers Crossing with 13 points, and then Altona Eastern 15 points. So really, 3 points separate 10th from 7th. So yeah.
Interesting. You got the top 3 teams sort of running away with it a little bit, and then you got a whole bunch in the middle from 4th, not separated by so much. Bit of a logjam in the middle.
Yeah, now this is a good point that Brenton Ray does make, and I'm actually aware of this as well.
Yeah,
Hume United have been starting to live stream their games, and Brenton Ray says Hume United versus Geelong Rangers is live streamed on the Hume United Facebook page as they normally stream their home games. The same mob that is streaming the Geelong Galaxy games on Flow Media, they are involved in that as well, at Hume United. So I do believe they also will be involved in another game involving the Geelong Rangers in about 3 weeks' time, I believe. Brenton Ray, we won't mention too much about that because it hasn't been 100% confirmed. But Brenton Ray knows all about that. So
good news that is that you can stay home and watch Rangers from the comfort of your own home.
Yeah,
possibly not Geelong this weekend after what we said earlier, but Geelong Rangers, yes.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, so absolutely that will be a big, important game for the Rangers, and definitely if you're not doing anything, it is a cold Saturday afternoon like last Saturday was, and what apparently is going to be.
We should say it is a 7:10 game as well, actually. So it's
is that right?
They do actually. They do like to play nighttime games up there at Laura Douglas. pretty scary place to go. So
yeah,
hopefully,
hopefully the lights are on, huh?
Yeah, maybe the Rangers can come up there and try and intimidate them on their own turf.
There you go.
Who knows?
Saturday night football. Yep, that should be entertaining. 7:10. That's an unusual time. I'm not too sure why they do that, but that is an interesting time. Okay, let's move along to now State 4. Now we've got the State 4 ladder there, as we can see. We've also got a little bit of footage of the Bell Park Truganina game, so we'll pop that on now.
Yeah, as you can see that. Park for slotting this in for us.
Yeah.
If it comes up on the screen. Yeah.
Bell Park 4, Truganina Hornets 0. Nick Nugent scored 2 goals. Now he's becoming a real sharpshooter. He scored 7 goals so far this season. Not sure where Josh Taleb is. He hasn't been. Not sure. If he's...
I think I heard Josh Taleb was set to take off and possibly someone will be able to correct this in the comments. Possibly go and work in the snow or something this time of year.
Oh, right. So he's actually. Well, if that is the case, he will be sorely missed. But Nugent has done well. Like I said, he scored a brace here, taking his season's tally to 7 so far this year. Ben McIntosh and Alex Lospar as well. Lopa also chipped in with a goal apiece as well. So a very, very good win for the All Whites against the Hornets here down in at Truganina.
Synthetic there.
Yeah, that's I think that's recent. I think that synthetic pitch. I don't think that's been around for more than a year or so, whatever. So,
it looks brand new.
Yeah, absolutely. So good victory there by Bell Park, and we'll stay with this one as well. Look at that. Well done.
I think
good
that was number 9 on the jersey. Was it McIntosh? I think. I'm not sure.
I think it may have been. Yeah. Great cross there by Milankovsky. Was it number 3? And there we go. That's the highlights of that. Go back to the ladder now, and we can see Bell Park long overdue win. They'd really been struggling in recent times. They hadn't got the results that they wanted. And look, that's a great result. Like, look, they're not that far away from the top. 5 points away. I mean, it might seem like quite a big difference type of thing, but having said that, Laverton is still the standout team here by a mile. I mean, on the weekend they smashed Spring Hills 6-1. The West Side Strikers played out a 1-1 draw with Barnstoneworth United, so that cost them some very, very valuable points. We had North Melbourne Athletic defeat Melbourne City 4-3. Gisborne, who have been a side that have been slowly inching their way up towards the top of the ladder, they had a good 3-1 away win at Melbourne Uni Soccer Club. And that allowed Bell Park effectively to leapfrog them into 4th spot. But the big surprise was the Geelong derby down at Banyule Warrior Reserve, Steve. No score, 0-0 result.
Yeah, it's probably the first point that the Plains have picked up for a fair while as well. And I fancied Surf Coast to do what they did earlier in the season and win this one handsomely. It didn't happen. I don't know if anyone was there. They've got any comments. I'd love to hear, but yeah, I guess that's a good result. You got to say it's a good result on the road for the Plains.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd certainly you'd think that's a good result because look, at the end of the day, I mean, like it's only their 4th point of the season, and so Surf Coast will be kicking themselves a little bit after that. But it's one of those things. Back to the drawing board, I think, and off you go. Brenton Ray says Arndale Park Reserve has been the synthetic pitch for its main pitch for around a decade. Correct, Brenton. You are right. Truganina Hornets have had that, but I think it was only recently relayed or something like that.
Judging by the amount of rubber flying up when the ball pitched on that video, I'd say it looked like it's been redone.
I think it was only in the last 12 months or so that it actually had been relayed. Well, they go for about 10
years, those pitches, and then after that they need a refresh, from what I understand. So maybe that would make sense. It's done a decade. Time to spruce it up.
Absolutely. And Hume United, it is their first full season with their new lights as well, hence the night matches that they like to have. So, Brenton, thank you very much for passing on all that information. If you are, just keep looking at the comments. our man, the Rayman, he will give us lots and lots of news and juicy information about what is going on in the world of football. Okay, let's turn our attention to next week's round of matches in State League 4.
Yep.
Regarding the Geelong clubs, Golden Plains, well, they'll be buoyed by that result, and they now take on by that result against Surf Coast. They now host Spring Hills, the bottom side, at Bannockburn Recreation Precinct on Saturday.
Game.
Man, if ever you wanted to win a game, this is it. And look, they got to win this game because Truganina Hornets, who are now in 10th, they will be taking on Barnstone Worth United, 6th place team. Once again, that'll be at Arndale Park Reserve. Golden Plains, you would have said a few weeks ago, you would have said a week ago that they were destined for relegation. Well, here's their opportunity now to start their ascent up towards the, safety, towards safety. A must-win game for Golden Plains. Bell Park at home to North Melbourne Athletics, Steve. Another must-win game for the All Whites if they expect to figure prominently in the chase for promotion later this season.
Yeah, I think barring a disaster there, Bell Park will get 3 points in that one. And then that comes to the next fixture, which is a tricky one for Surf Coast. They're off to Dixon Field to take on Gisborne, who are doing pretty well. They're sitting in third, probably, achieving more than we expected for Gisborne this season. So, yeah, tough game for Surf Coast. If they can make amends for their result on the weekend, I guess that's what they'll be aiming to do.
Yeah, at the best of times, it's a tough place to go, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's going to be a cold day on Saturday too. It could be they could be playing in sort of 7 or 8 degree temperatures. Who knows?
No way.
Maybe 9 or 10, but not at the best. At the best.
Yeah. All right. Brings us on to the as far as the men's competition is concerned, State 5, the final one. Some interesting results here. There was a Geelong derby that was played here. We also had some big wins and maybe a not so happy result for the Geelong teams. But it's the mini Geelong division, if you like, with 4 of these teams from our local region. The first game let's go to the Geelong derby. Lara United hosted Surfside Waves at the Lara Recreation Reserve on Saturday. And it was a good result for the home side, not so much for the visitors.
Yeah, that's right. I think the result here went as we expected, with Lara getting all 3 points. Sam Volpe on the score sheet after just 8 minutes. And then there was further goals for Mayondo and Costello, who scored from the spot. Mm-hmm. And then there was, I guess a consolation goal for the Waves in the 90th minute with, was it Patrick Scusa with the goal?
Yeah, Patrick Scusa, it's his 3rd for this season. And, if you're going to score a consolation goal, the 90th minute is the perfect time to score it. But
Sam, kind of the definition of a consolation at that time, isn't it?
The ultimate consolation goal.
Yeah.
Samuel Volpe, mate, this kid, he's got 13 goals this season. He's really proving as the sharpshooter there at Lara Reserve. And look, he's scored more than half of the team's tally. They've scored 24 goals there. He scored 13 of them. Julian Costello has scored 4. So between those two, they've scored 17 out of the 24 goals. So those two in fine form at the moment. And Lara United, doing quite well. They're sort of nipping at that second place. Along with Bowen. Now, Bowen, they hosted Ballarat. Not a good result for the Blue and Whites.
Yeah, they let it slip here. They went behind after a goal on 43 minutes to the visitors from Ballarat, and then Summers was on the score sheet on 61 minutes to tie it up. And then for all they tried, they couldn't find a winner, and that match finished 1-1 on Saturday evening down there at Grovedale Reserve. So they would have been hoping and thinking they were going to get the 3 points. Didn't happen.
No, it didn't. Unfortunately for them. But for Deakin Ducks, who are on the road to West Point, lowly West Point in second last position, it was a very good win by the Ducks. 4-1 result in the end. Now, Matt Elson scored 2 goals. He scored his first in the 11th minute. And then Pat Miletto, the captain, made it 2-0, or 2-1, I should say, with in the 60th minute. Elson scored his second and Deacon's third in the 64th minute, and then Luke Dale rounded off the scoring in the 91st minute. So a good win there by the Ducks. They remain kind of mid-table, but it is quite congested. Once again, they're on 18 points, and then second place Barwon is on 23 points. So there's 5 points gap there. They've had a little bit of a run, which wasn't the best, I suppose, and that's where they really dropped some valuable points. But at one stage, Deakin was, I think you had Barwon, Lara United, and Deakin occupying second, third, and fourth spot, or something along those lines.
Yeah, it seems like only a couple of weeks ago that the students were up the top there, and they're now sitting in seventh despite that big win. But again, it's a bit of a logjam there in the middle. They're only a couple of points off that top four.
Yeah. Now let's turn our attention locally. So we're going to stay with the men's competition, and then we're going to take a break, and then we're going to look at the women's leagues, women's competitions. The Geelong region competition, the men's division. Yep. Here we go. This is the ladder as it stands now. Some interesting results that happened on the weekend just gone by. It was round 10. Obviously, there have been a few games that have rounds that have been obviously missed because of the lockdown, but they will be replayed at varying stages or rescheduled at varying stages throughout the season. But it all started off on Friday night at Alco Park. Alco Park Cardinals took on Geelong Rangers, and the Geelong Rangers are a very young squad this year, as opposed to some of the golden oldie players that we've had in years gone by who've constantly been doing really, really well. A lot of young players. It's a very developmental squad. We talked about young players and getting inconsistent results. But on this occasion, Steve, 7-1 for the Alco Park Cardinals.
Yeah, big winners there to kick off the weekend. So a good win for the Cardinals. 7-1. Yeah, probably didn't expect to get such a resounding result, but they got it done there. So well done to the Cardinals. I don't have the goal scorers on me.
I have it right here.
They won't load here.
Yeah, Jake Vasilevsky had 2 goals. Mikey Radojevic, who has played for senior football at North Geelong, Golden Plains, Bell Park, I think, as well. He chipped in with 2 goals. Thomas Orshulich scored 1. Christian Davies scored 1. And Stuart Begg also scored 1. Yes, indeed. Hey. That is Stuart Begg, who is the senior men's coach at North Geelong Warriors as well. He was snapped up by the Cardinals.
He's a busy man, isn't he?
He is indeed. He is indeed. And good to see that he's still able to play out in the Division 1 competition. He scored in the 10th minute, so he got the ball rolling. Well, actually, Rangers scored in the 8th minute. Beggsy then equalised against his old club, mind you. Yeah, and in the end, it was a 7-1 victory to Alco Park Cardinals. Now, Armstrong United, who defeated the Alco Park Cardinals the week prior, ended up hosting Bell Park, and they were not able to hold a rampant Bell Park at bay, and the All Whites ended up scoring 4-1. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the goal scorers for the Bell Park team. The only goal scorer, the single goal scorer for Armstrong United was Johannes Bascher. And so unfortunately, Bell Park, get your act together. We want to know who the goal scorers were there. Moving along, on Sunday, we had Corio Bay Gold host Drysdale Soccer Club. Steve, do you have the result of that game?
Yeah, Drysdale got the points here with a 1-0 win at Evans Reserve, and just trying to get the goal scorer, but again, I can't get it to display on my screen. Oh, here we go. It was Hopper with the goal on 86 minutes, so a late winner there, according to the fine stats here on Sports TG for Drysdale to get the win on the road. So well done to Drysdale getting there. That's their second win of the season.
Yeah, the big surprise, I suppose, was, well, it is a surprise and it isn't, second versus third. It was always going to be a tough game. Barwon Soccer Club held to a 1-1 draw by Surf Coast, and that was at Grovedale Reserve. So Vandenbroek scored for Barwon. We don't know the goal scorer for Surf Coast. So, we urge those teams to put their goal scorers up so we do know. Leopold had the bye, and there's the ladder as it stands. So we've got a new leader now, Bell Park, and Bell Park have got a lot of ex-senior state league players in that squad. So it's a very star-laden squad. They are on top of the competition standings there. And they've also got a game in hand as well, as has second place Barwon. So those two teams can really pull away from the pack. Round 7 games this weekend. We've got Surf Coast has the bye.
We've got a
So
Thursday night game as well, mate, kicking off the
do
round.
have a Thursday night game.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. Who's playing in that one?
Well, at Grovedale Reserve, we've got, well, it's a local rivalry, we'll call it, I think, Tonji. Barwon versus Armstrong United at
Absolutely.
7:30 this Thursday night. Now, these Thursday night fixtures have become almost commonplace. Almost every week we're seeing one of these happen. So
I wonder if they get any good crowds. I'd like to know. I mean, it's traditionally a training night, isn't it? But I'm not too sure if other teams are training. But maybe by 7:30 they finish training. I don't know. But yeah, Thursday night, Friday night game, Sunday night. We've got a Friday night game as well at Estuary Reserve. FC Leopold taking on Bell Park. So FC Leopold really reveling in the new lights at Estuary Reserve. And before too long, they're going to get new change rooms there as well. So onwards and upwards for the Greens. And Bell Park Soccer Club, they love playing under lights. They performed really well under lights. And this is a game I would be tipping Bell Park to win quite comfortably and to possibly extend their lead at the top of the competition standings. Steve, yourself, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And we'll move on to the next game, which is a all Northern Suburbs fixture. Corio Bay, who are actually announced at Tuesday night's council meeting. Evans Reserve will be getting a lighting upgrade sorted out soon as well. The contract's been, or the tender's been awarded to the contractor to do the works there. And so maybe they'll be having night games one day as well.
Yeah.
They're hosting Elko Park Cardinals there. That's on the old school time. That's back to your Sunday 3 o'clock kickoff.
You'd expect
Cardinals should get the points against the bottom place side there, but Corio Bay should hopefully they can show a bit of fight.
Yeah, it's true. It's exactly right. I'm expecting the Cardinals to do well in that one. Geelong Rangers men hosting Drysdale. That's up at Myers Reserve. Good close game, 7th versus 8th. If the Rangers can win at home, they'll be on the same amount of points as Drysdale, depending on how much they would win, because they've got a big goal difference there to make up. But Drysdale, if they can win, then they'll really pull away from that sort of relegation zone. Although with only 9 teams this year, dare I say, it might only be one team getting relegated this year. It's difficult. The local competition, it's so hard. You just don't know. It just changes from year to year depending on how teams enter or what teams enter. And, you might get a team in the 2nd division that's going to go really, really good. And they might want to enter a team in the higher league, or they might not. And let's go to the 2nd division. As you can see, Barwon. So effectively, Barwon, who are doing really well, they would have to enter the top tier competition and have 2 teams, which is always a bit awkward. Deakin Ducks, they haven't got a team in the top tier for first time in a long, long time. It would be great to see the Ducks bounce back up, but I think they've been hit hard with the lack of international students this year. Elko Park Cardinals as well, up near the top. But Breakwater Eagles actually doing well. I think when we had them on the show, they were struggling. They were near the bottom of the competition standings, but they've started to make a bit of I won't say a surge, but they're starting to make their way slowly towards the top. And on the weekend, they had a 3-1 win over Barwon Heads, which is a good win at home. And they'll be looking to, I'm not too sure who they're playing this week, but they're away to Elko Park Cardinals. So the perfect time to, if they defeat the Cardinals, well, they'll leapfrog the Cardinals and potentially leapfrog Deakin Ducks as well, although the Deakin Ducks are playing bottom side Geelong Rangers on that one. So highly unlikely for that to happen. But look, that's an interesting one. Let's quickly have a look at the men's Division 3, Steve.
Yep, just quickly there, we'll get that massive leaderboard on your screen. It's almost like looking at the leaderboard in the Tour de France at the moment. There's that many listings on it there with the 15 teams there. So anyway, Corio, they're doing the business at the moment ahead of Geelong, and Barwon Heads in 3rd. Then we've got the 2 Deakin sides following those ones there. Some of those results from the weekend just very quickly in that one, and it was Barwon Heads 1-1 with Corio Bay. Armstrong United, they got their 2nd team in this division. They had a 6-0 win over the Deakin Ducks Gold. And big wins also for Barwon, defeating Drysdale 5-0. And the Ballerine Sharks, who are another one of those clubs we mentioned, just like we mentioned Corio Bay Cobras at Evans Reserve. Ballerine Sharks are getting some lighting sorted out soon too, which will be really good for them because they
long
need it.
overdue. Yeah.
Yeah, really good to hear. So that might be happening, up and running before the end of the season, even. Who knows? If not, at least next season. They had an 8-0 win over FC Leopold. So big score there. Larry United 5-1 over Colac Otway Rovers. And in the close one, Deacon Ducks Black edged out Corio, which was a good result against the top side for Deacon Ducks Black. And finally, Geelong 5-1 winners over the Breakwater Eagles.
Yeah, and Geelong now has a game in hand, and they're only 1 point behind the leaders, Corio. So, they've got a really good chance now of jumping up into that top spot right there. Folks, don't go away. We're going to take a very, very quick break. When we return, it's all about the women. Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show, and we're now going through the women's competition as well. So let's turn our attention to Victorian Premier League Women's. Steve, Galaxy on the weekend took on second place Whitehorse United. Really interesting result at the end of the day. Very, very good result when you think about it.
Yeah, what did you make of that outcome for the Galaxy in this one? Because we saw Whitehorse, they were a very tough opponent last time they came down to Geelong.
I think it was 4-0 or something like that they won. Yeah, this time they Galaxy went down 2-1, courtesy, not courtesy, but the one goal courtesy of Maddie Rakic, who making a welcome return. She scored in the 33rd minute. The bad news for the Galaxy, they lost Josephine Lonsdale, with a red, 2 yellow cards, so that's going to cost them dearly for the next week's game. But look, it's one of those games. Look, all you can say is what a great improvement it was compared to at the start of the year. And they've had a pretty tough sort of a season, very under personed or underwomaned, however you want to call it. They've suffered a lot of injuries, and they still had Captain Emily Sutcliffe out of this game. But yeah, Lonsdale has been a really good player. Has been one of the few players there in the back who's just been doing well and been dominating. And to lose her for the next week's game, which is a really important one too against Southern United, that's going to cost them fairly dearly. But great to see a much improved performance by the Galaxy girls, and they seem to do better. In fact, they seem to do so much better on the road than at home, Steve. Their 2 wins this season have both been on the road. This is a game that was certainly probably worthy of a draw once again on the road. They take on Southern United at the Salandra Recreation Reserve on Sunday, 3:30 p.m. kickoff on the road. So here's hoping that they can actually come home with all 3 points in this one.
Yeah, that's right. As you said, they've got their wins away at Eltham and at Casey this season. So yeah, happy hunting ground when they travel far from home. So let's hope that they can come back with 3 points. That'd be great, and just kickstart their second half of the season and just get a bit of confidence going within the squad.
Yeah. Moving along now, we're going to move on to the the women's competition. So it's the Women's State League 2 Northwest.
2 Northwest, yeah.
And there we go. It's Lara took on Maribyrnong Swifts Silvers. That's an interesting name, isn't it?
Yeah,
Maribyrnong Swift Silvers.
Yeah, they've exceeded their naming quota of possible names in their title. Well, it's a bit like Geelong Galaxy United sometimes. That's a bit too many. I just say Geelong Galaxy. It's a bit easier to say. It rolls off the tongue better.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this was a 2-1 result, identical result to the Galaxy's result. They lost to Maribyrnong 2-1. An unfortunate, I guess, scoreline there. A win would have sort of thrown Lara United up close towards the top. 3 points. They would have gone equal equal top with Latrobe University and Spring Hills. And although that they've got a far more inferior goal difference, so to speak, particularly compared to Latrobe. Look at that goal difference of positive 45. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case to be. But Easy Wilkinson scored in the 45th minute to make it 1-0 and give the visitors a 1-0 lead at the break. And it is, in fact, her 7th goal this season. So she's been doing quite well, getting really amongst the goals. So that has been a good thing to see. But conceding 2 second-half goals, and the Swifts Silvers, bit of a tongue twister there, they then pulled off a win with 3 points, and that was it. That was the end of the ball game for them. And some of the other results in that particular division: Spring Hills defeated Watsonia Heights 5-2. Brunswick Zebras defeated Hoppers Crossing 1-0. And Altona City played Latrobe Uni. That game was, I think, on the Friday night. We don't have a score for that one, actually. I'm not sure if it was washed out or just wasn't played, or there was no whatever result recorded. Yeah. I'm not too sure what happened there, but Latrobe is still doing extremely well. And I guess now it'll be a case of a battle for the second spot to see who's going to get promoted to State League 1 Northwest.
That's right. But it's a big game coming up for Lara United this Sunday, the 4th of July. It's the round 7 match. So that's one of the matches that was being rescheduled from earlier in the season. So this would have been a weekend off or a catch-up round. So that game's been rescheduled from the lockdown a few weeks ago, and Lara United's going to host that top side, Latrobe University. That's at 1 o'clock at Lara Recreation Reserve on Sunday. So get along and support the girls there and see if they can cause an upset against the league leaders. Wouldn't it be great if they could get the job done there?
Yeah, absolutely. That brings us on to the State League 3 competition just below that. The North Geelong Warriors, look at that. 8 wins from 8 games. We talk about convincing or astonishing goal differences. 50 goals for, 1 goal against, a goal difference of positive 49. They really do not have anyone taking them on or challenging them in the State League 3 competition. On the weekend just gone by, they travelled to Saltwater Reserve, Steve. Came back not only with 3 points, but 12 goals in the bag. 12-0 thumping of Point Cook.
Yeah.
If you don't mind. Now, we had goal scorers. Might need a hand here. There's so many of them.
There's a few, isn't there?
Yeah.
Fierro, Tizard. Tizard's in there twice. I can see Fierro's in there at least twice.
Yeah. Fiera scored. Marcella, is it? Scored. Fiera scored 2. Yep. Zoe Tizard 2. Jadranka Edzeg, the captain, she scored 3. So she's brought her season's goal scoring tally to 10 goals. Lara Herich also scored 3. And she's brought her season tally to 8 goals. And then also Amelia Spiranovic and Louisa Kump chipped in 1 each. And Louisa Kump has scored 8 goals for the season as well. So very convincing performance by the Warriors there. Doing very well. And they certainly look like they'll be playing in State League 2 Northwest next season, if not higher. But certainly that's looking good. They host this Sunday at Elco Park North Melbourne Athletic. So 6th place North Melbourne Athletic. They'll be taking them on. So they'll be looking for their 9th consecutive win of the season, Steve.
Yeah, and I can't see them being knocked off by anyone at the moment in this division.
No, absolutely.
I think they're just a dress rehearsal for moving up to the State 2 next season.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's turn our attention finally to the local competition. The Geelong Region Women's Division. Round 10 was played on the weekend just gone by. Another big division, 13 teams in this one. Let's go through some of the results, mate.
Yep, so we'll go back to Saturday where the first match kicked off, or the first few matches were kicking off at 1 o'clock. Surf Coast 4, Drysdale 1 at Banyule Warrior Reserve. So good result there for Surf Coast against Drysdale, who were going into the match higher than them on the table, and they still are by 1 point, but they closed the gap. And we'll go on to that second game, 1 o'clock also. Corio Bay, they hosted North Geelong Warriors, and North Geelong got the win, 6 goals to 1. A bit of one-sided game at the Leisure Time Centre, pitch number 1, and I can assume that match might have been shifted after the heavy rain, possibly.
It was, yep.
Yep. Geelong getting the win 13-0 over Barwon Heads, so pretty easy victory there. In the Ducks derby down at Deakin University, top field there, Deakin Ducks black, 11, Deakin Ducks gold 0. So a little bit of a one-sided one there, with black getting the win over gold. Then a closer one, the Geelong Rangers development squad getting a 2-1 win at Estuary Reserve over Leopold, and the more senior of the two Geelong Rangers sides, they got a 2-0 win over the league leaders Barwon in a top-of-the-table clash, which was played at 5 o'clock on Saturday. So that's that new
later game,
new tradition that they're playing that game straight after their men's State 2 game. So not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea at all. But getting back to that Geelong game, a matter of interest there. 7 goals were scored by one Elizabeth Sarcevic, former player with the Bell Park Soccer Club. So she scored something like 21 goals this year, and definitely one of the reasons why Geelong Soccer Club has got, equal top goal scoring at the moment, along with the Geelong Rangers. So 43 goals have been scored so far this year. Rangers obviously have played 2 games less, so they're looking in pole position once again to stay on that top position. But 7 goals by the former Bell Park star. Mary Gatsis as well. She scored 4 goals as well. So she scored 10 goals this year. So two former Bell Park Soccer Club players that have made the move over to Stead Park this year. And then also chipping in with 2 goals was Sophie Di Blasio Vasilevsky. So a convincing win by the Geelong Soccer Club on that occasion. And that finally brings us to this weekend's round of matches, which is the round 7 fixture. 3 teams have got the bye: FC Leopold, the Geelong Rangers development squad, so that's the second team, if you like, and Corio Bay Soccer Club as well. Steve, have you got the fixtures there in front of you?
I do indeed, and the fun starts on Friday night at 6:30, where it is the league leaders Barwon. They're hosting Deakin Ducks Black, which is the stronger of the 2 Ducks teams at the moment. Then on Saturday, 11:30 a.m., set your alarms. Deakin Ducks Gold will be hosting North Geelong Warriors at 11:30 at Deakin. Then at 1 o'clock, Surf Coast hosting the Geelong Rangers senior side at Banyawari. So tough assignment there for the Surf Coast girls. And then it's going to be also at 1 o'clock, Drysdale at their home turf are hosting the Geelong
4th versus 3rd. That should be a great game, that one.
Yeah, that should be a good game. If you're out on the Bellarine, get along to that one, 1 o'clock on Saturday.
Both teams have played 8 games. Both teams are on 16 points. So, someone has to prevail here, unless it's a draw, of course. But if it's a draw, Geelong remain on top of Drysdale. But that should be a really good game.
They will on goal difference. They will. And finally, at 7 o'clock on Friday the 9th, so not this weekend, according to this, it's going to be played on Friday week.
Mm-hmm.
It is Barwon Heads hosting Armstrong United under lights at Barwon Heads Village Park.
That should be a good game as well. Both those teams have struggled this year. Barwon Heads have got 4 points from 8 games. Armstrong United 3 points from 7 games, including their maiden win just recently, not that long ago. So, it should be that should be a good game. It
should be a beauty.
Yeah. Some good games coming up, not just this weekend, but over the coming weeks. So we really look forward to bringing you all of the fallout of all of those games once again. Steve, mate, that brings us to the end of the show. We didn't have any guests today, unfortunately, but we did have a lot of football to get through. And it's one thing that does keep me excited is the fact that we are able to cover all parts of the football kaleidoscope, if you like, the ecosystem here in Geelong. And we do that very, very proudly. So we do need your support, folks. If you want this show to continue, and there it is. You can do so by becoming a member of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Visit the following website, www.patreon.com/Geelong Region Soccer Show. We need your businesses to support us. It's the end of the financial year, so do support us. And we also need clubs to jump on board. If we love featuring the clubs, and we want to feature your club, but your club needs to make that decision. We can't make that decision for them. So, mate, all the very best. We'll look forward to next weekend.
Yeah, look forward to another big game at weekends. And thanks for everyone who's tuned in, and thanks for everyone in the comments, especially Clint, who enjoyed my boundary umpiring in them up last Saturday afternoon as well. And also thank you for Brenton for picking up on that information about the fixture being completely wrong for the broadcast game. I've traced up my sources, and that'll be reconfirmed tomorrow. So stay tuned for the games that will be broadcast in the NPL3 this weekend. But thank you, Tonchi. It's been a pleasure again, and look forward to doing it again next week.
Good. Look forward to having some more bleary nights and bleary mornings and sleepless nights.
Oh, well, just quickly, you're going to watch Croatia tonight.
Absolutely. Got the top there behind me. That one there. Yep. Ready to be worn. Absolutely. Good night, folks. Take care.